Subscribe to Cheating Tales Lab. Now, let's begin. The December wind carried the scent of pine through downtown Seattle as Rex Hancock reviewed the blueprints spread across his desk. At 34, he'd built a reputation as the go-to crisis management consultant for Fortune 500 companies. The man who prevented disasters before they happened and cleaned them up when they didn't. His office on the 42nd floor overlooked Puget Sound, but Rex rarely enjoyed the view. He was too busy running scenarios, identifying vulnerabilities, anticipating worst-case outcomes. His phone buzzed with a text from Jenna. Running late picking up Lily. Can you get her from dance? Rex smiled. 8-year-old Lily, technically his stepdaughter, though he'd never used that word, had wrapped herself around his heart from their first meeting 3 years ago. He'd married Jenna 2 years back, and Lily had stood beside them at the courthouse, holding both their hands. Her biological father had disappeared before she was born, and Rex had stepped into that role without hesitation. On my way, he typed back. 20 minutes later, he found Lily waiting outside the studio. Her blonde hair still in a tight bun, pink backpack almost as big as she was. Her face lit up when she saw him. Rex. She launched herself into his arms. She'd started calling him Dad about 6 months ago, but only when they were alone. Jenna had asked her to stick with his first name around family. Gran and Pop get confused, she'd explained, though Rex suspected it was more than confusion. How was class, kiddo? Miss Andrea says, I'm ready for point shoes. Lily bounced in her seat as he buckled her in. Can we get them this weekend? We'll see what your mom says. Rex pulled into traffic, listening to Lily chatter about her day. She talked about everything: school, friends, the stray cat she'd named Professor Whiskers, everything except her mother's family. The McLeans were old Seattle money, the kind that came from timber and shipping in the 1800s. Bernard McLean, Jenna's father, ran the family's investment firm from a waterfront estate in Madison Park. Rex had met them twice before the wedding, once at a stiff dinner where Bernard barely acknowledged him, and once at the ceremony itself, where the McLean family occupied one side of the small courthouse room like an invading force. You're not one of us, Bernard had said to Rex in the parking lot afterward, his voice low enough that Jenna couldn't hear. You're temporary. Eventually, Jenna will remember who she really is. Rex had smiled politely and walked away. He'd grown up in military housing, bouncing between bases Fort Bragg, Ramstein, Okinawa, the son of an Army colonel who taught him that some battles weren't worth fighting. Pick your wars carefully, his father had said. When you do fight, fight to win. That evening, Rex made spaghetti while Lily did homework at the kitchen counter. Jenna came home after 8, her designer handbag hitting the counter with a heavy thud. Client dinner ran long, she said, kissing Lily's head. To Rex, my parents want us for Christmas Eve. The whole family will be there. Rex kept stirring the sauce. We talked about doing Christmas, just the 3 of us this year. It's important to Dad. Jenna's voice had that edge it got when discussing her family. He's getting older. Family traditions matter. I have traditions too, Lily said quietly. Like making cookies with Rex. You can do both, sweetie. Jenna poured herself wine. We'll go to Gran and Pop's for dinner, then come home for cookies. Rex met his daughter's eyes. Lily looked down at her math worksheet. That night, after Lily was asleep, Rex found Jenna on the couch, scrolling through her phone. Something's bothering you about Christmas, she said without looking up. Your father doesn't want me there. He's old-fashioned. He'll come around. Will he? Rex sat across from her. Jenna, I've been part of this family for 2 years. He still introduces me as Jenna's current husband. That's just his sense of humor. Is it funny? Jenna finally looked at him. What do you want me to do, Rex? Cut off my entire family because they're not warm and fuzzy? They're traditional. Conservative. Yes, Dad's difficult. But he's my father. And Lily, what about her? Have you noticed she gets quiet whenever we're going to see them? She's 8 years old, and she tenses up like she's heading into a test. You're being dramatic. Jenna stood, taking her wine to the bedroom. We're going Christmas Eve. That's final. Rex stayed on the couch, staring at the dark window. His phone showed 11:47 p.m. In his line of work, he'd learned to trust his instincts. Right now, every instinct was screaming that something was wrong. The next 2 weeks blurred together. Rex took on a new client, a pharmaceutical company with a contamination scare, and spent long hours managing their crisis response. He coordinated with FDA officials, drafted public statements, organized product recalls across 6 states. It was the kind of high-pressure situation where one wrong move could cost lives and billions of dollars. But even buried in work, he watched Lily. She'd grown quieter as Christmas approached. Twice, he found her sitting in her room, staring at nothing. When he asked what was wrong, she'd just shake her head. "Are you worried about seeing Gran and Pop-Pop?" he asked one evening while helping her with a school project. Lily kept her eyes on the poster board. "They don't like me." "That's not true, sweetheart." "Yes, it is." Her voice was matter of fact, the way kids state uncomfortable truths. "Gran says I'm tainted." "I don't know what that means, but it sounds bad." Rex's hands stilled. "When did she say that?" "Last summer, when Mom took me to visit." Lily applied glue to a photo. "Pop-Pop said something worse, but Mom told me never to repeat it." "Lily, look at me." Rex waited until she met his eyes. "If anyone, and I mean anyone, says or does something that makes you uncomfortable, you tell me. Promise?" She nodded, but Rex saw something in her expression that chilled him. Not just discomfort, fear. That night, he tried again with Jenna. "Lily says your mother called her tainted." Jenna was getting ready for bed, removing her jewelry. "Mom comes from a different generation. She has outdated views about children born outside marriage." "That's not a view. That's cruelty." "She's not cruel, Rex. She's just particular about bloodlines and family heritage." Jenna climbed into bed. "Look, I know they're not perfect, but they're family. Lily needs to learn that family means tolerating difficult people sometimes." "She's 8. "Exactly. She's learning." Jenna turned off her lamp. "Can we please not fight about this again? It's Christmas." Rex lay awake long after Jenna fell asleep, his mind running through scenarios. In crisis management, you learn to identify risks before they materialized. You looked for patterns, for warning signs, for the moment when discomfort became danger. He thought about Bernard McClan, about that parking lot conversation, about Jenna's mother, Sharon McLean, who'd never once said Lily's name, only referred to her as the child. About Jenna's brother Edwin and his wife Della, who'd visited once and spent the entire time discussing bloodline purity like they were breeding horses. Rex had dealt with corporate disasters, natural catastrophes, industrial accidents. He'd coordinated evacuations, managed media firestorms, negotiated with hostile actors. But this was different. This was family, and he was starting to realize he'd married into something he didn't fully understand. 3 days before Christmas, he made a call. "Jack Hampton." "Jack, it's Rex Hancock." "Well, damn. How long has it been?" Jack had served with Rex's father in the Army, later worked as a private investigator in Seattle. He owed Rex's family several favors. "What do you need?" "Background check." "Discreet?" "On who?" "My wife's family. The McLeans of Madison Park." Silence. "Then, the Timber McLeans? You know them?" "Know of them." Jack's voice was careful. "Rex, those people don't just have skeletons in their closet. They've got whole graveyards." "What's going on?" "Maybe nothing. Maybe something. Can you look into them?" "It'll take a few days. I need it before Christmas Eve." "That's 48 hours." "I know." Another pause. "You've got good instincts, Rex. If they're tingling, there's probably a reason." "I'll dig." Rex hung up and opened his laptop. He pulled up everything he could find on the McLeans, society page articles, charity galas. Bernard McLean, sitting on boards of directors. Sharon McLean, hosting fundraisers. The family had a pristine public image. But Rex had learned something in crisis management. The cleaner something looked on the surface, the more rot existed underneath. He was still searching when Jenna came home, shopping bags in hand. "Got Lily's Christmas dress," she said. "Something appropriate for the family dinner." "Appropriate?" "You know what I mean. Conservative. No bright colors." Jenna showed him a navy blue dress that looked like something from a century ago. High collar, long sleeves, hem below the knee. For an 8-year-old, that's severe. It's proper. Jenna was already heading to Lily's room. "My mother is very particular about presentation." Rex followed her. Lily looked up from her book, saw the dress, and her face fell. "Do I have to wear that?" "It's beautiful, sweetie. Very grown up. I wanted to wear my red dress. The one Rex got me for my recital." That's too flashy for Christmas Eve. Jenna hung the navy dress in the closet. This is more appropriate for a McLean family gathering. But I'm not a McLean, Lily said quietly. I'm a Hancock now. Jenna's expression tightened. Your last name is still Robertson. And you're my daughter, which makes you a McLean by blood. She left the room. Rex sat on the edge of Lily's bed. Tell you what, we'll wear what Mom wants for the dinner, but then we'll come home early and you can change into your red dress for cookies. Deal? Lily hugged him. I wish we didn't have to go. I know, kiddo, but sometimes we do things we don't want to do for the people we love. Even as he said it, Rex wondered if he was teaching her the wrong lesson. Christmas Eve arrived with heavy clouds and the promise of snow. Rex had spent the morning reviewing Jack Hampton's preliminary report, and what he'd found made his stomach turn. The McLeans weren't just old money. They were part of something called the Heritage Circle, a society of wealthy Seattle families who traced their lineage to the city's founders. On paper, it looked like a social club. Historical preservation, charity work, genealogy research. But Jack had found sealed court records, NDAs, whispered rumors. 3 families had tried to leave the Heritage Circle over the past decade. One had their business destroyed through mysterious bad press and lost contracts. Another family's daughter had overdosed on pills that weren't prescribed to her. The investigation had gone nowhere. The third family simply moved away without explanation, selling their home and business at a loss. These people play for keeps, Jack had said on the phone that morning. I'm still digging into their internal practices, but Rex, be careful tonight. I've heard things about their gatherings. Initiation rites, loyalty tests. Nothing concrete, but enough smoke to assume fire. What kind of tests? The kind that keep people in line through fear and shame. I'll have more after Christmas, but watch your back. Rex had hung up and stared at his phone for a long time. He should cancel. He should keep Lily away from these people. But Jenna would never forgive him, and without proof of actual danger, he'd look paranoid. Besides, it was just one dinner. A few hours. He'd stay close to Lily, and they'd leave the moment anything felt wrong. At 5 p.m., they pulled up to the McLean estate. The house was a stone mansion that looked like it had been airlifted from Victorian England, complete with turrets and leaded glass windows. Light blazed from every window. Cars lined the circular driveway. Mercedes, BMWs, a vintage Rolls-Royce. Remember your manners, Jenna told Lily, straightening the girl's collar. And smile. Gran and Pop appreciate good manners. Lily took Rex's hand as they walked to the door. Her palm was sweaty despite the cold. Bernard McLean answered, wearing a smoking jacket like he'd stepped out of the 1920 seconds. He looked past Rex to Jenna, kissing her cheek. Darling, you look lovely. Merry Christmas, Dad. Jenna stepped inside. Bernard's eyes moved to Lily, and Rex saw something flicker in them. Not warmth, appraisal. Like looking at a problem to be solved. And the little one, Bernard said. How you've grown. Lily pressed closer to Rex. Say hello to Pop, Jenna prompted. Hello, Lily whispered. Bernard finally acknowledged Rex with a curt nod. Hancock, come in. The foyer was massive, decorated with a Christmas tree that had to be 20 feet tall. Not colorful like the tree in their apartment. This one had only white and silver ornaments, arranged with mathematical precision. Sharon McLean descended the grand staircase, elegant in a black dress. She embraced Jenna, then looked at Lily the way someone might regard a stain on expensive carpet. Margaret, she called toward the back of the house. The child needs her coat taken. An elderly woman in what looked like a servant's uniform appeared and silently gestured for Lily to follow her. I'll keep it, Lily said, clutching Rex's hand tighter. Don't be difficult, Jenna said. Her voice strained. Margaret will hang it up for you. Rex squeezed Lily's hand. It's okay. I'll be right here. Lily reluctantly followed Margaret down a hallway, looking back twice. Come meet everyone, Sharon said, leading them toward voices and laughter. The parlor held about 15 people, all dressed in dark, formal clothing. Rex recognized Jenna's brother, Edwin Tall Thin, with Bernard's sharp features and his wife, Della. There was an older couple introduced as the Prices, family, friends, a younger man named Caesar Sampson, some kind of cousin. 2 women in their 60s, both named as McLean aunts. Everyone had the same look, expensive clothes, perfect hair, and eyes that assessed Rex like he was an unwelcome guest who might steal the silver. "Everybody. You remember Rex," Jenna said, her voice too bright. The responses ranged from cold nods to complete silence. Bernard handed Rex a scotch without asking if he wanted one. "Family tradition. Single malt, aged 25 years. Probably wasted on you, but tradition demands all the men drink." Rex took the glass, but didn't drink. His father had taught him another lesson: never accept food or drink from people you don't trust. "So, Rex," Edwin said, appearing at his elbow, "Jenna mentioned you're in some sort of consulting business. Must be nice. Playing at work while real men handle actual industry." "Crisis management," Rex said evenly. "I help companies avoid disaster." "Ah, a professional worrier." Edwin smirked. "The McLeans built this city. We don't worry, we act." Della joined them, her voice carrying. "Where's the little one?" Sharon wanted to see her. "Getting her coat taken," Jenna said. "Such a shame," Della said, not bothering to lower her voice. "That she carries tainted blood. But I suppose some stains can't be washed away." Rex's jaw tightened. Jenna looked uncomfortable, but said nothing. "She's 8 years old," Rex said quietly. "Exactly," Della replied. "Old enough to understand consequences." Before Rex could respond, Margaret reappeared in the doorway. "Excuse me, Mrs. McLean. The child is asking for her father." "Tell her to wait," Sharon said dismissively. "Her father is here," Rex said. "Excuse me." He found Lily in the hallway, trying not to cry. Margaret stood nearby, expressionless. "What's wrong, sweetheart?" "I want to go home." Lily's voice broke. "Please, can we go home? We just got here." "What happened?" "Nothing. Please, Rex." He knelt down, studying her face. "Lily, did someone do something?" "No. I just want to go home." "Rex?" Jenna appeared behind him. "What's going on?" "Lily's upset." "She's fine. She's just being dramatic." Jenna took Lily's hand. "Come on, sweetie, dinner's almost ready. You can sit with me." "Actually," Sharon called from the parlor doorway, "the children eat in the kitchen with Margaret. It's tradition." "She's the only child here," Rex said. "All the more reason to learn proper dinner manners," Sharon replied. "The adults dine in the formal room. Children, servants, and others eat separately." The pause before "others" was deliberate. Rex felt his temper rising, but Jenna was already pulling Lily toward the back of the house. "It's fine," Jenna said. "It's just how they do things." Rex followed them to a large kitchen where Margaret was setting a single place at a smaller table. The main dining room was visible through a doorway, glittering crystal, silver candelabras, fine china, for 15 people. Lily would eat alone with the servant. "This is ridiculous," Rex said. "It's tradition," Jenna insisted. "I ate in here when I was young too." "Were you alone?" "Sometimes. It taught me discipline." Lily sat at the small table, her face carefully blank. Rex recognized that look. She was shutting down, retreating into herself. "I'll stay with her," he said. "You will not." Bernard's voice came from behind them. "This is a family dinner, and you're technically family." "Barely. Come." It wasn't a request. Rex looked at Lily. "I'll check on you every few minutes. Okay?" She nodded, but didn't meet his eyes. In the dining room, Rex found himself seated at the far end of the table, away from Jenna. The conversation flowed around him, discussion of stock portfolios, real estate investments, appropriate breeding lines. Edwin told a long story about excluding someone from their club for being genetically unsuitable. Everyone laughed. Rex excused himself twice to check on Lily. Each time, he found her picking at her food while Margaret washed dishes in silence. "You doing okay, kiddo?" "Want me to stay?" "You have to go back to dinner." Her voice was hollow. "It's tradition." By 8:30, Rex had reached his limit. He stood, interrupting Bernard mid-sentence. "We need to go." "Dessert hasn't been served," Sharon said icily. "We have plans at home." "Family tradition." Rex emphasized the last two words. Jenna looked mortified. "Rex, we can't just leave. Watch us." He walked to the kitchen. Lily was gone. So was Margaret. "Where's my daughter?" The dining room fell silent. Bernard set down his wine glass carefully. "She needed to learn something," he said. Where is my daughter? Upstairs. The heritage room. She's receiving an education in what it means to disrespect family traditions. Rex was already moving, taking the stairs 3 at a time. Jenna called after him, but he didn't stop. The second-floor hallway was dark except for light spilling from a room at the end. He heard Lily scream. The world went red. Rex hit the door with his shoulder, wood splintering around the lock. The room was large, wood-paneled, filled with portraits of dead McLeans. In the center, 9 adults formed a circle. Bernard held a branding iron, the tip glowing orange. Sharon and Della held Lily's arms, forcing her down onto a table. Edwin stood nearby with a video camera. The others watched the prices. Cesar, the aunts, 3 more people Rex didn't recognize. All of them were smiling. This is what outsiders get, Jenna was saying, her hand pressed on Lily's legs, holding her down. You're not really a McLean. You'll never be one of us. This mark will remind you. The smell hit Rex. Burning flesh. Lily's flesh. His 8-year-old daughter screamed for him. Time seemed to slow and speed up simultaneously. Rex saw the brand a circle with a cross through it, the heritage circle symbol pressed against Lily's forearm. He saw Jenna holding her own daughter down. He saw 9 adults watching, some filming, all enjoying it. He'd spent 15 years managing crises, staying calm under pressure, thinking strategically. That ended. Rex grabbed the branding iron from Bernard's hand, not caring about his own burned palm, and swung it like a bat. Bernard went down. Sharon shrieked. Edwin lunged with the camera, and Rex caught him in the throat with his elbow. He scooped Lily up, her screams dissolving into sobs against his chest. The burn on her arm was the size of a $50, the skin already blistering. The smell made him want to vomit. Call the police, Sharon screamed. Oh, I'll do better than that, Rex said, his voice eerily calm now. His free hand pulled out his phone. Still holding Lily, he backed toward the door. Jenna stood frozen, her face white. Rex, you don't understand. It's tradition. All the children who marry into the family. You held her down, Rex said. You told them to do this. She needs to learn her place. Rex looked at the woman he'd married and saw a stranger. He carried Lily down the stairs. Behind him, he heard Bernard shouting about lawyers, about police, about how Rex had assaulted him. Sharon was crying. Edwin made sounds like he was choking. Rex didn't care. He got Lily to his car, wrapped her in his jacket, and made one call. Jack Hampton. I need everything. Now. Rex's voice was dead calm. Police, FBI, child services, media, everything we discussed as contingency. And I need it before these people finish their dessert. What happened? They branded my daughter. With a hot iron. 9 adults watched and participated. Silence. Then, Jesus Christ. I'm making calls now. Get her to Harborview Medical Center. I'll have people waiting. Jack. I want them destroyed. All of them. Rex. Not hurt. Not arrested. Destroyed. Tell me you can do that. Another pause. My brother's a federal prosecutor. He's been trying to nail the Heritage Circle for years. If you've got evidence, I've got more than evidence. I've got their whole operation on the cloud. Rex had been running a security backup protocol on his phone since entering the house. Everything had uploaded automatically. I've got video, audio, faces, names. I've got them admitting to it. Then yeah, Jack said, and his voice was hard. I can destroy them. Get your daughter medical attention. I'll handle the rest. Rex drove to the hospital with Lily sobbing in the passenger seat, her arm cradled against her chest. He talked to her the whole way, telling her she was safe, that she was brave, that he loved her. I'm sorry, she kept saying. I'm sorry I wasn't good enough to be a McLean. Listen to me. Rex pulled into the emergency entrance. They're not good enough for you. Do you understand? Those people are sick. What they did, that's not love. That's not family. That's evil. Doctors took Lily immediately. Rex stood in the hallway, his burned hand throbbing, his clothes reeking of smoke and terror, and felt something inside him crystallize into pure, cold purpose. His phone buzzed. Jack, police are en route to the McLean estate. FBI is getting a warrant. Child Services has been notified. My brother wants your evidence. Rex typed. He'll have it in 10 minutes. But I want more than arrests. I want every business deal canceled, every board position lost, every society membership revoked. I want their name to become poison. That's not legal process. I don't care about legal process. I care about making sure they never hurt another child. Can you do it or not? Give me 48 hours. Rex sat in the waiting room, his mind already working through scenarios. He'd spent his career preventing disasters and managing them when prevention failed. Now he was going to create one. A controlled burn that would turn the McLean empire to ash. His phone rang. Jenna? Rex, please. Come back. We can talk about this. It's just a tradition, it doesn't mean. You held our daughter down while your father burned her. She's not your daughter. She's mine. And the Heritage Circle has rules about outside blood. Stop talking. Rex's voice could have frozen water. Don't call me again. Don't come near Lily again. The next time we speak will be in court. You can't keep her from me. I'm her mother. We'll see what a judge says when they hear what you did. He hung up, deleted her number, blocked it. A nurse appeared. Mr. Hancock? Lily's asking for you. Rex followed her to a room where his daughter lay in a hospital bed, her arm bandaged, an IV in her other hand. Her eyes were red from crying, but when she saw him, she tried to smile. Hey, kiddo. Is Mom coming? No. Good. Lily's voice was small but firm. I don't want to see her. Ever. That can be arranged. Are you leaving too? Rex pulled a chair next to her bed and took her good hand. Lily, listen to me very carefully. I'm not going anywhere. Ever. You're stuck with me. Understand? But I'm not really yours. I'm just... Stop. Rex waited until she looked at him. You're mine. You've been mine since the day I met you. Biology doesn't matter. Love matters. And I love you more than anything in this world. Lily started crying again, and Rex held her carefully, mindful of the IV and bandages. They said I was tainted, she whispered. That I was broken. They're wrong. You're perfect. And they're going to pay for what they did to you. How? Rex smiled, but it wasn't a kind smile. It was the smile of a man who just declared war. You know what I do for a living, right? I fix disasters. But I also know how to create them when necessary. I'm going to make sure everyone knows what the McLeans really are. Will it hurt them? Yes. Good, Lily said, and closed her eyes. Rex sat there all night, watching her sleep, his mind cataloging every resource he had, every connection, every tool in his arsenal. By dawn, he had a plan, and by New Year's, the McLeans would wish they'd never heard the name Rex Hancock. The morning after Christmas, Detective Janelle Lee arrived at Rex's apartment with a warrant for Bernard McLean's arrest and questions that needed answers. She was in her mid-30s, sharp-eyed, with the exhausted look of someone who'd worked through the holiday. Mr. Hancock, I need to take your statement about what happened last night. Coffee first, Rex said, gesturing her inside. Lily was still at the hospital under observation. He'd spent the past few hours making arrangements, and he was running on adrenaline and rage. He told Detective Lee everything, his voice steady and emotionless. She took notes, occasionally glancing up at him with something like sympathy. The doctors say Lily's burn is second degree, potentially third in the center. She'll need skin grafts. Lee's voice hardened. I've been a cop for 12 years. This is one of the worst things I've seen. What happens now? Bernard McLean has been arrested and charged with assault on a minor, child abuse, and conspiracy. We're working on charges for the others who were present. Lee paused. Your wife claims it was a religious ceremony, protected under freedom of religion. Rex laughed, bitter and cold. Religious ceremony. They tortured an 8-year-old child. I agree. But the McLeans have expensive lawyers. They're already spinning this as a cultural practice, a misunderstanding, and claiming you assaulted Bernard and broke into private property. I saved my daughter. I know. And we have the evidence to prove it. Lee closed her notebook. Mr. Hancock, off the record, these people have been getting away with things for decades. Sealed settlements, witnesses who suddenly refuse to testify, evidence that mysteriously disappears. The Heritage Circle has connections throughout the city, judges, politicians, police brass. You're going against a machine. Then, I'll break the machine. Lee studied him. You know what you're doing, don't you? You've got a plan. Several. Be careful. These people play dirty. So do I, when necessary. After Lee left, Rex opened his laptop and reviewed the files Jack Hampton had sent overnight. Jack hadn't been kidding about the graveyards of skeletons. The Heritage Circle wasn't just a social club. It was a cult of old money families who believed in bloodline purity, genetic superiority, and maintaining power through any means necessary. They'd been operating since the 1892, using wealth and connections to cover their tracks. Jack had found evidence of forced marriages between appropriate bloodlines. Children removed from mothers deemed unsuitable. Mysterious deaths that were never properly investigated. A pattern of abuse spanning generations, all hidden behind closed doors and genteel society manners. The branding wasn't new. It was how they marked children born to outsiders who married into member families, a permanent reminder that they weren't truly part of the bloodline. Usually, it happened to infants, where it could be explained as a birthmark or accident. Lily had avoided it until now because Rex had kept her away from the family. Last night had been Jenna's attempt to bring her daughter in line. Rex's phone rang. Jack Hampton. My brother's filing federal charges. Conspiracy to commit child abuse. Operating an organization engaged in abuse of minors. Racketeering. He's treating the Heritage Circle as a criminal enterprise. Good. There's more. I've been working my contacts in media. 3 major newspapers are running stories tomorrow. Torture cult among Seattle's elite. I've got the evidence package ready to send to every news outlet in the state. Do it. Rex, once this goes public, there's no coming back. These people will try to destroy you too. They already tried to destroy my daughter. They failed. Now, it's my turn. By noon, Rex was at Harborview Medical Center, sitting with Lily while she picked at Jell-O and watched cartoons. She was quieter than usual, but every time he started to leave, she grabbed his hand. I'm not going anywhere, he kept saying. Around 2 p.m., Jenna appeared in the doorway. She looked like she hadn't slept, her makeup smudged, designer clothes rumpled. I need to talk to Lily. No, Rex said. She's my daughter. You lost that right when you held her down and let your father burn her. Rex stood, positioning himself between Jenna and the bed. Leave. Now. Rex, please, I was raised that way. It's all I knew. The circle teaches that outside blood has to be marked, branded, tortured. Rex's voice was quiet but deadly. You had a choice. You chose them over your own child. Lily's voice came from behind him, small but clear. I don't want to see you. Jenna's face crumpled. Baby, I was trying to help you, to make you part of the family. By burning me? Lily pulled her blanket closer. You hurt me, Mom. You held me down while Pop hurt me. Rex would never do that. Never. You're turning her against me. Jenna's voice rose. This is your fault, Rex. You never respected our traditions. Never tried to understand. Understand child abuse? Yeah, I'm funny that way. Hospital security appeared, summoned by a nurse. Jenna left, but not before hissing at Rex. My family will destroy you. They can try, Rex said. That evening, Lily was released into Rex's care with a prescription for pain medication and instructions for wound care. They went to a hotel. Rex wasn't ready to return to the apartment he'd shared with Jenna. He ordered room service, and they watched movies until Lily fell asleep. Rex spent the night planning. He'd worked with enough wealthy clients to understand how power worked in Seattle. Money, connections, reputation, those were the pillars of the McLean empire. All 3 could be destroyed if you knew where to push. First pillar. Money. The McLean family fortune came from investments managed through Bernard's firm. Jack had found evidence of fraud, insider trading, and misuse of client funds hidden in layers of shell companies. Rex was sending everything to the SEC, IRS, and FBI. Second pillar. Connections. The McLeans sat on boards, belonged to exclusive clubs, had judges and politicians in their pocket. But loyalty only lasted as long as association was profitable. Once the abuse scandal broke, those connections would evaporate. Third pillar. Reputation. The McLeans prided themselves on being Seattle royalty. By tomorrow morning, they'd be Seattle pariahs. Rex's phone buzzed with a message from Jack. Federal marshals are serving warrants at 18 addresses tomorrow morning. Every Heritage Circle member. My brother's going for broke. Good. Another message. This one from someone Rex hadn't heard from in 5 years. Colonel Vernon Bauer, his father's old commanding officer, now retired and running a private security firm. Heard what happened to your little girl. I've got friends in Seattle PD. If you need protection or muscle, call me. Rex called him. Sir, I need a favor. Anything, kid? Your dad saved my life twice. What do you need? I need to make sure Lily's safe while this plays out. The McLeans have connections, money, and motivation to silence her. I'll have 2 of my best people on you within the hour. Former Secret Service. Nobody gets to that little girl without going through them first. By midnight, 2 security professionals had taken up positions outside their hotel room. Rex finally allowed himself to sleep, though his dreams were full of Lily's screams and the smell of burning flesh. The story broke on December 26th with the force of a bomb. Heritage Circle exposed. Wealthy Seattle families accused of child torture. The Seattle Times ran it front page, with photos of Bernard McLean being arrested, descriptions of the branding ceremony, and quotes from Rex's recording of the night. By noon, it had gone national. CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, everyone picked it up. Elite Seattle cult brands children, torture hidden behind old money, the dark truth of the Heritage Circle. Social media exploded. Heritage Circle trended worldwide. Amateur investigators dug into every family connected to the organization. Old rumors resurfaced. Victims started coming forward. Rex sat in the hotel room with Lily, watching it unfold on his laptop while she colored in a new book he'd bought her. She'd been oddly calm since leaving the hospital, but he knew shock was masking deeper trauma. He'd already made appointments with 3 child psychologists. His phone rang constantly. Reporters wanting comments. Lawyers offering to sue on Lily's behalf. Old friends checking in. He ignored most of them. The one call he took was from Cesar Sampson, the McLean cousin who'd been in the room. "This is your fault," Cesar snarled. "You've destroyed honorable families over one undisciplined child." 9 adults tortured an 8-year-old girl, Rex interrupted. "If that destroys you, good. You don't understand what we are, what we've built. A cult. You built a cult that abuses children. And now everyone knows. We'll sue you for everything." "We'll?" Rex hung up. 5 minutes later, he got a message from Jack. Cesar Sampson arrested. Warrant executed at his home. Found evidence of 3 other branded children. He's done. The arrests continued throughout the day. Sharon McLean, Edwin, and Della. The prices. Every adult who'd been in that room. Several other Heritage Circle members were taken in for questioning about other incidents. Bernard McLean posted bail $5 million and immediately went on local news to defend himself. "This is a witch hunt," he said, looking directly into the camera. "A disgruntled outsider has weaponized an unfortunate accident to destroy respected families. The so-called Heritage Circle is simply a historical society. We have never..." The interview was cut short when someone leaked the full video of Lily's branding ceremony online. By evening, Bernard was back in custody, bail revoked. The judge cited clear and undeniable evidence of deliberate child abuse. Jenna hired a lawyer and released a statement claiming she'd been coerced, that she'd tried to stop it, that Rex had twisted the truth. The statement lasted 3 hours before someone leaked audio of her saying, "This is what outsiders get," and telling her father to make it hurt. Her lawyer resigned. By December 27th, the empire was crumbling. 3 major companies severed all business ties with McLean Investment Management. Bernard's firm lost half its clients in 24 hours. The Seattle Country Club revoked memberships for every Heritage Circle family. The University of Washington returned donations and removed the McLean name from a building. Social media was particularly brutal. Photos of the McLean estate were shared with captions like "House of Horrors" and "Where Children Were Tortured." Someone created a database of every Heritage Circle member, with photos, addresses, and business affiliations. Several members received death threats. Rex didn't condone the threats, but he didn't particularly care either. On December 28th, Detective Lee visited the hotel. Federal charges are locked in. Bernard, Sharon, Edwin, Della, and 4 others are facing 20 years minimum. Cesar Sampson is looking at 40. Turns out those 3 branded children were his own kids. "Jesus," Rex muttered. The Heritage Circle is being dissolved under federal racketeering statutes. Every member is under investigation. Assets are being frozen pending civil suits from victims. Lee paused. "This is going to be the biggest scandal in Seattle history." "What about Jenna?" "Complicated. She's cooperating, claiming she was brainwashed. The prosecutor isn't buying it, but a jury might. She's facing 10 to 15 years. Rex felt nothing hearing that. The woman he'd married was gone if she'd ever really existed. What remained was someone who'd chosen a cult over her own daughter. Can Lily testify, if needed? We have video evidence. We don't need her testimony to convict. But if she wants to, when she's older, that option exists. Lee leaned forward. How's she doing? Nightmares. She won't let me leave her sight. She flinches at loud noises. Rex's jaw tightened. But she's strong. She'll heal. And you? I'll heal when they're all in prison. After Lee left, Rex sat with Lily while she had dinner. She'd been quiet all day, processing everything in that mysterious way children do. Rex, she said finally, are they really going to jail? Yes. All of them? All of them. Good. She went back to her mac and cheese. Then, what happens to us? What do you mean? Are we still a family? Or do I go somewhere else because Mom's going to jail? Rex knelt beside her chair. Lily, listen to me. I'm adopting you. Legally. Officially. Permanently. You're my daughter. That's not changing. But you and Mom are getting divorced. Yes. But that doesn't change us. You're mine. Forever. Okay? Lily threw her arms around his neck. Can I call you Dad now? Not just when we're alone? You can call me Dad always. She pulled back, smiling for the first time since Christmas Eve. Dad. Yeah, kiddo. I love you. I love you too. That night, while Lily slept in the hotel bed, Rex received an encrypted email from Jack Hampton. You asked me to destroy them. Here's phase 2. The attachment contained everything Jack had compiled. Decades of Heritage Circle documentation, evidence of systematic abuse, financial records showing how they'd paid off witnesses and buried investigations, internal communications discussing bloodline purity and inferior genetics. There was also information on every judge, politician, and police officer who'd ever taken money or favors from Heritage Circle families. If you release this, Jack wrote, it won't just destroy the McLeans. It'll bring down half the power structure in Seattle. Are you sure? Rex read through everything, his anger building with each page. Children branded, families destroyed, lives ruined, all hidden behind wealth and respectability. He hit send to every media outlet, government agency, and watchdog organization he could think of. Burn it all down, he typed to Jack. Within hours, the second wave hit. Corruption scandal rocks Seattle. Dozens of officials connected to child abuse cult the Heritage Circle's web of power. A state senator resigned. 2 judges recused themselves from pending cases. The Seattle police chief was placed on administrative leave pending investigation. The mayor called for a federal inquiry. By December 30th, Seattle's political establishment was in chaos, and Rex was just getting started. New Year's Eve brought snow and silence to the hotel suite. Lily was asleep early, exhausted from physical therapy for her arm and emotional exhaustion from everything else. Rex sat by the window, watching snow fall over the city, his mind already 3 moves ahead. The McLeans were destroyed. That much was certain. Bernard would die in prison. Sharon would follow. Edwin, Della, Cesar, all of them would spend decades behind bars. The Heritage Circle was effectively extinct, its remaining members facing criminal charges or fleeing the state. But Rex wasn't done. He'd spent the past week coordinating with Jack Hampton, Detective Lee, and federal prosecutors to ensure every loose end was tied, every victim identified, every piece of evidence preserved, every connected official exposed. The McLeans had spent generations building their empire of cruelty. Rex had dismantled it in 5 days. His phone rang. Jack Hampton. You need to see this. What? Bernard McLean tried to kill himself in his cell this morning. Guards stopped him, but he left a note. You want to read it? The note was sent to Rex's email as a scanned image. Bernard's elegant handwriting filled 3 pages, but Rex only needed the first paragraph. I underestimated you, Hancock. I thought you were weak, insignificant, temporary. I was wrong. You've destroyed in days what took my family 4 generations to build. I hope it was worth it. I hope you can live with the blood on your hands. Because while we hurt 1 child, you've destroyed dozens of families, ruined hundreds of lives, brought chaos to an entire city. Who's the real monster? Rex read it twice, then deleted it. He felt nothing. A knock at the door brought him back to the present. Security checked before allowing Detective Lee inside. Sorry to bother you so late. I wanted to update you before the new year. What's happened? Total of 43 arrests connected to the Heritage Circle. We've identified 27 child victims spanning 30 years. 3 cold case deaths are being reopened as potential homicides. Lee sat down, looking exhausted. Rex, this is the biggest criminal conspiracy in state history. Trials will take years, but they'll happen. They'll happen. Federal prosecutors have RICO charges. State has child abuse and conspiracy. Nobody's walking away from this. She paused. There's something else. Jenna wants to see Lily. No. She's claiming rehabilitation, therapy, that she wants to apologize. I don't care. The answer is no. Legally, she still has parental rights until a court says otherwise. Then I'll make sure a court says otherwise. Rex's voice was ice. She held her daughter down and participated in torture. If she gets within a mile of Lily, I'll make what I did to the McLeans look like a warm-up. Lee held up her hands. I'm not arguing. I'm just telling you what the lawyers are saying. For what it's worth, I don't think any judge who's seen the evidence will give Jenna visitation, let alone custody. They won't, because I'm going to make sure every person involved in this case knows exactly what she did. After Lee left, Rex checked on Lily. She was awake, sitting up in bed. I heard you talking about Mom. How much did you hear? Enough. Lily was quiet for a moment. I don't want to see her. You don't have to. Ever? Not until you're ready. If that's never, that's okay too. What if she comes anyway? Rex sat on the edge of the bed. Then, she'll have to go through me. And kiddo, I promise you nobody's getting through me. Not her family, not anyone. You're safe. Because you're scary when you're mad? Because I love you more than I'm afraid of anything else. Lily smiled slightly. You were pretty scary at Pop-Pop's house. You broke down the door. Yeah, well, someone was hurting my daughter. Do you think? Lily hesitated. Do you think I'll always be scared? The doctor said I might have bad dreams for a long time. Maybe, but bad dreams fade. And I'll be there every time to remind you that you're safe. Rex tucked her blanket around her. The people who hurt you are going to prison. They can't touch you ever again. Good. She lay down, her eyes already drooping. Dad? Yeah? Thank you for saving me. Rex's throat tightened. Always, kiddo. Always. The next morning, January 1st, Rex woke to find the world had shifted again overnight. Someone Rex suspected a Heritage Circle sympathizer had tried to spin the narrative, painting Rex as a vindictive outsider who destroyed innocent families over a cultural misunderstanding. The story had been planted in several conservative media outlets, complete with photos of Rex looking threatening and quotes from anonymous sources claiming he'd planned the whole thing. Within an hour, the story had collapsed. Victims came forward publicly. Children, now adults, who'd been branded by the Heritage Circle. Parents who'd been threatened into silence. Business owners who'd been destroyed for refusing to comply with Heritage Circle demands. Their testimonies flooded social media, each one adding another layer of proof to what Rex had exposed. By noon, the outlets that had run the sympathetic story were retracting it and apologizing. By evening, 2 more Heritage Circle members had been arrested based on victim testimony. Rex watched it all unfold from the hotel while Lily did schoolwork at the desk. He'd enrolled her in online classes temporarily, figuring regular school could wait until things settled. His phone rang, a Seattle number he didn't recognize. Mr. Hancock, this is Chuck Watkins. I'm an attorney representing several Heritage Circle victims. We're organizing a class action lawsuit against the remaining Circle members and their estates. We'd like to include Lily. What would that mean for her? Financial compensation for her trauma and medical expenses. It also creates a permanent legal record of what was done to her, which could help in the future if anyone tries to downplay or deny what happened. Send me the details. I'll review them. There's one more thing. Watkins paused. There's talk of a victim support organization being formed. People who were hurt by the Heritage Circle, coming together for healing and advocacy. Several victims have specifically mentioned wanting to thank you personally for finally bringing these people down. I didn't do it for thanks. I know. But you should know you've given a lot of people their voices back. People who've been silenced and scared for decades. That matters. After hanging up, Rex found Lily watching him from the desk. Who was that? A lawyer. He wants to make sure you get money from the people who hurt you. I don't want their money. It's not about wanting it. It's about them paying for what they did. Rex sat beside her. Money can't fix what happened, but it can help pay for doctors, therapy, things you might need in the future. Will it help other kids they hurt? Yes. The lawyer is representing a lot of people. Lily nodded slowly. Then, okay, if it helps other kids. That afternoon, two things happened simultaneously. First, Jenna's lawyer contacted Rex with a deal. Jenna would voluntarily terminate her parental rights in exchange for reduced charges. She'd serve 5 years instead of 15, and she'd never contact Lily again. Counteroffer, Rex said. She serves the full 15 years, terminates parental rights, and additionally agrees to a restraining order that extends to when Lily turns 25. In exchange, I won't testify at her sentencing hearing about the other times I suspected abuse, but couldn't prove. Other times? The bruises Lily had that Jenna explained away as playground accidents. The time Lily came home terrified and wouldn't say why. The therapy notes I found indicating Lily was being emotionally manipulated. I kept records. Rex hadn't, but Jenna's lawyer didn't know that. Tell her to take the deal or face those questions in court. The lawyer called back an hour later. She accepts. Second, Bernard McLean's attorney released another statement. This one, trying for sympathy. My client is a 68-year-old man from a different era, raised with certain traditions that are no longer acceptable. He's suffering from dementia and didn't fully understand his actions. The statement died when someone leaked medical records showing Bernard had no dementia diagnosis and had recently passed a complete cognitive evaluation for a business license renewal. His lawyer withdrew from the case. By January 5th, Rex and Lily moved from the hotel to a new apartment on the other side of the city. Fresh start, new space, no memories of Jenna or the McLeans. The security team stayed, just in case, but Rex felt the danger had passed. The McLeans were in prison or fleeing prosecution. The Heritage Circle was dismantled. Lily was safe. Almost. The knock came at 9 p.m. on January 8th, while Rex was helping Lily with a geography project. Security had cleared the visitor, but Rex still checked through the peephole before opening the door. Detective Lee stood there with another man, tall, silver-haired, wearing an expensive suit. Mr. Hancock, this is Special Agent Kenneth Bishop, FBI. Can we come in? Rex gestured them inside. Lily, go to your room for a bit, okay? Is something wrong? Lily's eyes widened. No, sweetheart, just adult stuff. I'll come get you in a few minutes. After Lily left, Rex turned to the visitors. What's this about? Your investigation into the McLeans uncovered a lot more than child abuse, Bishop said, pulling out a tablet. You accidentally exposed a network of financial crimes, political corruption, and organized criminal activity that we've been investigating for 3 years. Accidentally? The Heritage Circle wasn't just about bloodlines and tradition. They were laundering money through their investment firm, bribing officials, and manipulating city contracts. Your evidence gave us everything we needed to connect the dots. Bishop showed him charts, documents, connections. We're looking at RICO charges for 40 people, fraud charges for dozens more. This could lead to the largest corruption prosecution in state history. Good, Rex said. There's a problem, Lee interjected. Some of the people connected to this have dangerous friends. The kind who don't like loose ends. You're saying I'm a target? We're saying you and Lily might be. 2 Heritage Circle associates have disappeared. We think they fled the country. But there are others who might want to silence witnesses before trials begin. Rex felt his jaw tighten. How real is this threat? Real enough that I'm here personally, Bishop said. We'd like to offer you protective custody until the major trials are complete. Probably 6 months. Absolutely not. Lily's been through enough. She needs stability, not to be hidden away like she did something wrong. We understand. But, no. Find another solution. Bishop and Lee exchanged glances. Finally, Bishop nodded. We can increase security. Federal agents in addition to your private team. We'll monitor communications, sweep for surveillance devices, track anyone who gets close. But you need to be careful. I've been careful. Be more careful. Lee stood. Rex, you poked a bear. a big, wealthy, connected bear. Some of those people have everything to lose. After they left, Rex sat in the quiet apartment, his mind running through scenarios again. He'd won the war against the McLeans, but the battlefield was bigger than he'd realized. He checked on Lily. She was reading, her bandaged arm resting on a pillow. "Everything okay?" she asked. "Everything's fine. Just some legal stuff about the case. Are the bad people going to stay in jail?" "Yes, I promise." But even as he said it, Rex was already planning. If someone came after them, he needed to be ready, not reactive, proactive. He'd spent his career preventing disasters. Time to prevent one more. He called Jack Hampton. "I need more security. Top tier. Former special forces if possible. And I need a safe house set up as a contingency." "You expecting trouble?" "I'm expecting to be ready for it. I'll make the calls." The next week passed quietly. Lily started seeing a therapist 3 times a week, a specialist in childhood trauma. She was making progress. The nightmares were less frequent. She smiled more often. She'd even talked about going back to regular school. Rex, meanwhile, worked from home on crisis management for his clients, though his heart wasn't in it. The only crisis he cared about was the one he'd already handled. On January 15th, Bernard McLean tried to kill himself again. This time, he succeeded. The news hit Rex like a physical blow, not from grief, but from a sense of incomplete justice. Bernard wouldn't stand trial, wouldn't face his victims, wouldn't spend decades contemplating what he'd done. He'd taken the easy way out. When Lily heard, she said simply, "Good. He can't hurt anyone now." Rex wasn't sure if that was healing or hardening, but he didn't correct her. 2 days later, Sharon McLean also died a heart attack in her cell. Natural causes, the autopsy said, but Rex suspected she'd simply given up. Without Bernard, without her empire, without the heritage circle, she had nothing left. Edwin and Della were still alive, awaiting trial. Cesar Sampson had taken a plea deal in exchange for testimony against other circle members. The remaining defendants were fighting charges, but losing ground daily as more evidence surfaced. By February, the immediate danger felt past. Federal agents reduced their surveillance. Rex's private security team stayed, but relaxed their protocols. Lily started back at school, attending a private academy that specialized in students who'd experienced trauma. She made friends cautiously, but genuinely. She laughed more. She started talking about the future. And slowly, carefully, Rex began to believe they might actually be okay. The letter arrived on Valentine's Day, delivered through an attorney. Inside was a handwritten note from Jenna, apparently written before she'd taken the plea deal. "Rex, I know you hate me. I know I deserve it. But I need you to understand something. I was raised in the heritage circle. It wasn't a choice, it was my entire reality. They taught me that outside blood was tainted, that traditions mattered more than feelings, that love meant enforcing discipline. I actually thought I was helping Lily by marking her. I thought I was saving her from worse punishment later. I was wrong. I know that now. The therapy I've been getting in here has shown me how twisted my thinking was, how abused I was as a child, and how I passed that abuse on. I don't expect forgiveness. I don't deserve it. But I want you to know that what I did wasn't because I didn't love my daughter. It was because I loved her the only way I knew how, the broken way the circle taught me. Take care of her. Be the parent I never learned to be. And someday, if she ever wants to understand why I did what I did, show her this letter. Not to excuse it, but to explain it. Tell her I'm sorry. Tell her I love her. And tell her that the best thing I ever did was marry you, because it meant she'd have someone who loved her the right way. Jenna." Rex read the letter 3 times, feeling nothing. Maybe Jenna was telling the truth. Maybe she'd been a victim too. But that didn't erase what she'd done. Didn't heal the burn on Lily's arm. Didn't erase her screams. He put the letter in a safe deposit box. Maybe someday Lily would want to see it. Maybe not. For now, he had other things to focus on. March brought spring and the start of trials. Edwin and Della were convicted in 2 days. The jury deliberated less than an hour. Both received 20 years sentences. They'd be in their 70s when released. Cesar Sampson got 15 years despite his plea deal. The judge called his abuse of his own children unconscionable. Other Heritage Circle members were tried throughout the spring. Some convicted, some taking plea deals, one acquitted on a technicality but destroyed by public opinion anyway. By summer, The organization was completely dismantled, its assets seized and distributed to victims. Through it all, Rex and Lily built a new normal. Routines, traditions, small moments of happiness. They went to movies, cooked together, took a weekend trip to the San Juan Islands. Lily's burn scar was healing. It would never fully disappear, but plastic surgery had made it less pronounced. More importantly, she was healing inside. The nightmares stopped. She stopped flinching at loud noises. She started dancing again. In June, the adoption was finalized. Lily Hancock became official, legal, permanent. "How do you feel?" Rex asked her afterward, standing on the courthouse steps. "Like I finally belong somewhere," she said. In August, they moved to a house nothing like the McLean estate, just a modest 3-bedroom in a good neighborhood with a yard and normal neighbors. Lily picked out her own room colors, hung posters, made it hers. Rex scaled back his consulting work, focusing on projects he actually cared about. He started teaching crisis management at the university part-time. He dated casually, nothing serious, because his focus was on the small blonde kid who greeted him every day with, "Hey, Dad." Life settled into something resembling peace. September brought the anniversary of Lily's 9th birthday and a surprise visitor. Jack Hampton called first. "There's someone who wants to meet you. Says it's important." "Who?" "Alan Henderson. He was branded by the Heritage Circle as a kid in 1987. He's been following your case. Says he has information you need to hear." Rex agreed to meet at a coffee shop downtown. Alan Henderson turned out to be in his early 40s, successful looking, with a trace of a scar on his left wrist where his sleeve had ridden up. "Mr. Hancock, I wanted to thank you personally." Alan's handshake was firm. "What you did exposing the circle, getting justice, it meant everything to those of us who survived them. I'm glad I could help. But that's not the only reason I'm here." Alan glanced around, then leaned forward. "There's a rumor. The Heritage Circle might not be completely dead." Rex felt ice in his veins. "Explain." "Some of the younger members, people who weren't directly involved in the abuse, but were raised in the ideology, they've been meeting quietly. They call themselves the New Heritage. They're talking about rebuilding, about preserving the traditions, about learning from the mistakes that got the old circle exposed." "How do you know this?" "My brother married into a heritage family. He's an idiot who still believes in all that bloodline, purity garbage. He told me they're planning something." Alan's jaw tightened. "I don't know what, but I thought you should know. You destroyed their world. They might want revenge." Rex processed this, his crisis management instincts kicking in. "Names. I need names of everyone involved. I'll get you what I can." After Alan left, Rex made several calls. To Detective Lee, to Federal Agent Bishop, to Jack Hampton. Within hours, they confirmed it. A small group of Heritage Circle descendants, none directly involved in the abuse but all raised in the ideology, were attempting to reorganize. They were no threat legally, they hadn't committed any crimes, but ideologically, they were dangerous. "Should I be worried about Lily?" Rex asked Bishop. "We're monitoring them. Right now it's just talk, meetings, planning." "But Rex," Bishop paused, "these people blame you for destroying their families, their way of life. Some of them lost parents to prison, inheritances to victim lawsuits. They're bitter. Let them be bitter from a distance. I'm just saying, watch your back." Rex did more than watch his back. He activated every security protocol he'd built over the past year. Enhanced home security, updated emergency procedures, made sure Lily's school knew to never release her to anyone but him. And he waited. The attack came in October, but not the way he expected. Someone filed a complaint with Child Services claiming Rex was emotionally abusing Lily, forcing her to relive trauma through constant reminders of the McLean case. The complaint was anonymous, but detailed enough to trigger an investigation. "This is harassment," Rex told the social worker who came to interview them. "Someone's trying to weaponize the system against us." The social worker, a woman named Rachel Mayo, was sympathetic but thorough. She interviewed Lily privately, inspected the house, reviewed medical and therapy records. "Your daughter is one of the healthiest trauma survivors I've encountered," Rachel said finally. "Whoever filed this complaint either has no idea what abuse looks like or was deliberately lying. I'm closing this case with a recommendation that any further complaints from the same source be ignored." But it didn't stop. Over the next month, there were more attacks. Anonymous letters to Rex's clients claiming he was unstable and dangerous. His consulting contracts suddenly dried up. False reviews on his university teaching page claiming he was inappropriate with students. The department chair called him in for a meeting. Someone vandalized their car with spray paint. Child stealer. Each incident was small, individually dismissible. Together, they painted a picture of coordinated harassment. Rex responded the only way he knew how. He went on offense. Jack Hampton traced the complaints to a burner phone purchased by Trisha Robertson, daughter of one of the convicted Heritage Circle members. Jack also found evidence linking her to the new Heritage meetings. Rex contacted Federal Agent Bishop. "How much rope do I have to let them hang themselves?" "What are you thinking?" "I'm thinking I give them a target too good to resist and see if they're stupid enough to take it." Bishop was quiet for a moment. "Be careful. Whatever you're planning, don't break any laws I can't ignore." "Wouldn't dream of it." Rex's plan was simple. He announced publicly that he was writing a book about the Heritage Circle case, complete with naming names of everyone involved, including the second-generation members who'd escaped prosecution. He gave interviews, appeared on podcasts, made sure every new Heritage member knew he was going to expose them too. The reaction was immediate. More harassment, threatening letters. Someone followed Lily home from school before security intervened. A brick through their window with a note. "Leave the past alone." Rex documented everything, built a case, and waited for them to make a real mistake. It came in November. Trisha Robertson and 2 other new Heritage members attempted to break into Rex's house while he and Lily were at a movie. Security caught them, and police found they were carrying zip ties, duct tape, and what appeared to be a branding iron. "They were going to brand me," Rex told Detective Lee afterward. "Send a message." "They were idiots," Lee replied. "Breaking and entering, attempted assault, possession of an instrument of crime. They're looking at serious time." The arrests made news. New generation tries to revive Heritage Circle terror and had the desired effect. The remaining new Heritage members scattered, some fleeing the state, others denying involvement. The movement, such as it was, collapsed. By December, it was truly over. The Heritage Circle was dead, its attempted resurrection crushed, and the people who'd hurt Lily were either in prison or running scared. Rex and Lily spent Christmas at their house, just the 2 of them. They made cookies, watched bad holiday movies, and opened presents by a tree they decorated together. Normal. Happy. Safe. On Christmas Eve, exactly 1 year after the branding, Lily asked if they could talk about what happened. "You sure?" Rex asked. "I'm ready." They sat on the couch, hot chocolate in hand, and Lily told him things she'd remembered in therapy. About other times Gran had hurt her, subtle cruelties Rex hadn't seen. About how Mom had changed after they got married, becoming colder, more distant. About how Lily had started to believe she was broken, tainted, wrong. "But I don't believe that anymore," she said. "My therapist says the people who told me that were the broken ones. I'm just me, and that's enough." "That's more than enough," Rex said. "You're extraordinary." "So are you." Lily smiled. "You saved me, Dad. Not just that night but every day since. You showed me what real love looks like." "Right back at you, kiddo." That night, after Lily was asleep, Rex stood in the kitchen where a year ago he'd received the video that changed everything. He thought about that moment, the split second where he'd had to decide between his comfortable life and his daughter's safety. It wasn't even a choice. He'd lost his wife, his stable home, his privacy. But he'd gained something infinitely more valuable: his daughter's trust, her safety, her future. The McLeans had tried to mark Lily as an outsider, something less than human. Instead, they'd revealed themselves as the monsters they were, and Rex had made sure everyone knew it. Some people might call it revenge. Rex called it justice. His phone buzzed with a text from Lily's phone. She'd gotten her first phone for Christmas. "Can't sleep. Coming down for more cocoa. Love you, Dad." "Love you too," he typed back. Rex smiled, putting milk on the stove. Tomorrow they'd start year 2 of their new life. Year 2 of healing, growing, being a family the right way. The Heritage Circle was gone. The McLeans were defeated, and Rex Hancock and his daughter were finally, truly free. He heard Lily's footsteps on the stairs and turned to greet her, ready for whatever came next. Because he'd learned something over the past year. When you fight for someone you love, when you protect them with everything you have, When you refuse to let evil hide behind respectability, you don't just save them. You save yourself too. Extra marshmallows? Lily asked, hopping onto a kitchen stool. Is there any other way? They sat together in the warm kitchen, hot chocolate steaming, snow falling outside, and talked about nothing important until Lily yawned and said it was probably time for bed. Rex tucked her in, checked the locks, set the security system, and finally allowed himself to believe it. They were safe. The battle was won. The nightmare was over. And in the morning, they'd wake up to a future they'd built together, not tainted by the past, not defined by trauma, but shaped by love, resilience, and the unbreakable bond between a father and his daughter. The real kind of family. The earned kind, the kind worth fighting for. This is where our story comes to an end. Share your thoughts in the comments section. Thanks for your time. If you enjoy this story, please subscribe to this channel. Click on the video you see on the screen, and I will see you there.